Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex. And today I want to introduce you to a new game that I've been playing a lot recently, both on stream and off. It's called Lineage 2 Revolution, and it's actually the second title in the Lineage series. It's a pretty popular game series. It's mobile, so you may have heard of it already. You may have seen commercials. Conan O'Brien did one, but the game is getting a lot of buzz right now, and I had never played the first one, so I decided to try out the second one. It's an MMORPG, which means you're going to be fighting in kind of a fantasy world. You're going to be kind of one of the standard classes, you know, warrior, rogue, or mage, and then you're going to fight all these fantastic beasts, and you'll find places to find them. And then it's an MMO, which means that you're going to play with a lot of people. And there's a couple of things that I wanted to discuss with you guys today about the game. Both things that I think are intriguing and things that I think could be both good or bad for the game in the long run, and my thoughts on it, and why you should play this game if it interests you at all, and maybe you haven't heard of it, so I can bring it to your attention. But before we get into that, I just want to say at once that you may be seeing quite a few other content creators right now making sponsored content for this game because they're doing a launch event, and that's usually what game companies do when they want to get their game out and into the hands of as most players as possible, and that makes sense. But I'm not doing that. I have to actually mention it legally if this is any kind of sponsored ad or content, but it's not. I just like the game. I have fun with it, so I wanted to share my fun experience with you guys, and hopefully you can find a fun experience in this game if you're not playing, and if you are playing, you'll have even more fun and enjoyment seeing me play along with you and potentially learn some things along the way. So what you do at the beginning of the game, as I mentioned before, in a typical RPG, is you choose your race first. So you've got 4 races, you know, human, human, dwarf, elf, and dark elf. And then you choose one of the 3 standard classes. You know, you have your fighter class, kind of tank or damage. You have your rogue class. In this case, I went with a rogue archer, also known as a Hawkeye, for those of you that still want that Marvel fix. And then you have your standard kind of mage damage or mage healer class. And that is going to be really important, the class that you choose and how you choose to play this game, because it's going to impact your experience in the game. You know, if you like to be in the thick of battle, if you like to be in the enemy's face, you're probably going to want to go with one of the warrior classes, or maybe a rogue with a dagger. If you like being far away and kind of sniping and not getting hit very often, like me, and you want to be a bit of a snake, then go with a rogue class. And of course, if you want to help people, or if you want to see lots of pretty colors and cool animations, yeah, the mage class is probably for you. But that's not all there is to the game, because once you get started, you're going to have to do a whole bunch of quests, and you're going to be running around the map. And the map is quite large. This is just a map of one region, the Gluido Plains. If we go out, if we zoom out to Gluido, you can see that there's 4 or 5 different setups just in this part of the world map. But if we go left and right, you can see that there are multiple different places you can be, and I'm sure they're going to add more episodes as the game gets better. As you can see here, the recommended level goes up to 104, but there's always an opportunity for them to increase that cap and add more content to the game. But this is just mostly for kind of farming and the single player or the story mode game, where you don't really need to interact with a party. You can kind of do it on your own. These are the main quests that you see here on the top left hand side, Slasher of Souls, which is the one that I can get started on now with this guy Russell. And this is all well and good. This is quite entertaining, and a lot of it is done through this auto questing function. And this is the first kind of controversy or hot button topic that I wanted to bring to your attention if you've heard about this game and if you've thought of playing it or not playing it. And part of the reason that it's a hot button thing is because auto questing, as you guys know, doesn't really take a lot of effort on your part. I'm not actually doing anything in the game right now. The game is just running for me and auto playing. And if you've played other games on this channel like Marvel Future Fight, you're familiar with this concept. But for the MMORPG community, it's not really looked on positively. It's kind of seen as a way to get around the grind. But I don't actually think that's the case in this game. If you've talked to longtime players of Lineage games, they say that it's more of a job than a game. I've been playing pretty much non-stop since the game came out about 4 or 5 days ago, and I'm only just about level 40 now, and so I'm less than halfway done just the XP grind to get to the level cap, which I believe is 110. but it might have changed for this North American release. But that is just part of the experience. Don't get turned off by the auto questing function if you don't like it. This is just to allow everyone to play the game. So see it as more of an enabling tool than a tool to make the game easy, because the game is by no means simple. It is easy in some parts, but it's definitely not simple. This is very complicated. There's lots of different things, for example, that you can do to your character, as far as, you know, we already discussed the classes. I can show you guys again. We have Warrior, Rogue, and Mystic. I called it the Mage. We have 4 different races. Then you have your subclasses once you reach level 31. In addition to the subclasses, if I go over into the skills, you guys will be able to see that I could actually have different skills for my character, despite the fact that I'm using a bow and I'm a Hawkeye. I have different skills here. I have actually different buffs too. I have the Hawkeye buff or the snipe buff that I can use that give me different effects. So depending on the situation, I may need to switch one for another. I also have passive skills that I can level up, so if I need to help my team in a different way, whether it's to slow the enemy or whether it's to increase the accuracy of my party, I can choose to do that and kind of spec my character more specifically. And speccing your character specifically for certain things for your party is a big part of the MMORPG experience, because that's the first part, MMO, massively multiplayer online. Right now, I'm in a party of just 4 random people, and if you're just starting out in the game, I recommend that you always get into a party, even if you don't know anyone in the party, in-game or in real life, because you get extra XP. As you can see, I'm getting 20% extra gold, and I'm getting 20% extra XP as part of the party bonus effect. So whether I'm questing in a dungeon, whether I'm questing for the main stuff, whether I'm just standing around, I try to always be in a group because it gives you additional bonus stats, and that's a big part of it, encouraging people to play together, which is going to enhance the experience. An MMORPG is only as strong as the community, so to see the community being so lively at the beginning of the game is a good sign for its future, but it has to be sustained long term for the game to have any real staying power with more than just hardcore players. But you do want to stay in a party for all of your quests that you're doing. If you can, as soon as you can, you should also join a clan, which is the same thing as a guild or an alliance. I ended up making one here on the first day, and we're actually doing pretty well. We're ranked 36 in the world, which is not bad. We already at level 6, and we are already full, unfortunately, if you were hoping to join Snoopy. But this is a big part of the game, and it's good to see that they've already included lots of different clan quests and things that you can do with your clan. And it's a lot easier to set up dungeon raids and boss raids with your clan, because you can just quickly message them using the in-game messaging system, which is pretty robust, I would say. You can switch between channels pretty quickly. You can choose to individually message someone in a one-to-one chat, so you can also send private messages very easily. I find that it's quite easy to navigate, and it makes the social part of the game quite simple and comfortable. But the fighting is also really important, and I think that they've gotten it right so far. I think that the auto-questing function does its purpose of alleviating some of the kind of boring or repetitive grind, because you can leave this on as long as you don't die, as long as you're strong enough to complete the content. You can leave this on and you can do other things, or you can kind of just monitor in the background. But there's always going to be content that you can't do that for. So for example, there is a clan dungeon where you can fight specific high-level difficult bosses. I just completed that episode. That's cool. But you can complete these clan dungeons. So we have here Vacheron's Vestige. This boss, although it says very easy, is actually not very easy, and it took my effort, in addition to about 5 or 6 other people on the live stream at the same time, took us more than 20 minutes to kill this boss. And while I could have put it on auto, because the boss did so much damage, and because the boss would show with a red reticule kind of where they're going to hit you, it would be a red circle or a red cone of, you know, signaling incoming damage, I knew when I needed to dodge. And you can't dodge on autoplay because the character just stands there attacking, so you need to manually control. So there's still that aspect, kind of like if you want an example of a game that you understand already, Marvel Future Fight. For World Boss, there is no auto mode for World Boss. While they do allow you to auto in this game for basically every single type of quest, there is definitely, I can already see quests, and I'm not even at a high level, but there are already plenty of quests that do not function well if you're auto questing. So if you have that worry that the game is just kind of auto and leave it and then you never really interact with it, fear not, because it's only that way in the beginning stages to get through that grind. In addition to getting into a clan, you're going to want to complete as much of the dungeon content as you can, and they've kind of assigned the dungeon content based on what you get from it, so it's quite easy to understand. Daily dungeons will give you mats that you need to upgrade your gear and upgrade your character. So you can see here these mats are for upgrading weapons, accessories, and armor, and every day it changes. That's why it's daily, so it kind of makes sense in that sense. And in every sense, the Tower of Insolence is quite fun. It's similar to Shadowland. It gets more difficult with every stage that you go up. The monster variety, I think, could be a bit better, but I do find it quite entertaining to see wave after wave of enemy come at me, and then the boss at the end of each tower floor. And that will give you runes that you can use to upgrade character stats. And that's another part that's really important, is the stats of your character. So if I go over to my runes, you can see here that we have total bonuses to all of my stats: physical attack, crit rate, evasion rate, accuracy, stuff like that. And you have these different pages, and they have basically linked stats. And so this requires additional planning and foresight on your part to see where you should invest most of your runes. As you can see, I only have 55 rune fragments, so I can't really do anything. I just completed another quest. I can't really do anything on this page because everything's too expensive, but if I had a bunch of runes, for example, maybe I want to upgrade this second rune page because I need accuracy and I need evasion rate. But I might also want to upgrade this rune page because it gives me crit rate and it gives me ignore physical defense damage, to do more hits, or to, you know, penetrate the physical defense of my enemies more successfully. So there is a lot of individual kind of micromanagement that you need to do for your character, and the auto questing and the questing in general actually only takes up, I would say, about half of the gameplay. Another thing that's really cool about this game, and I think it's specific to this game, is while I'm auto questing, as you guys can already notice, I can do other things. So I can go into my inventory, I can manage my inventory while the game is playing, and it allows me to essentially multitask. I can, you know, upgrade this weapon that I'm using, this crystalline ice bow. I can do that while I'm questing, and it doesn't impede my progress at all. So you can feel your progression more rapidly, especially once you get the hang of the different menus and the different things that you need to do, how you're going to handle your inventory and your upgrading for your character and for your clan. You can do all of those things in tandem while you're questing, while you're grinding a dungeon, while you're waiting for kind of an area boss to spawn. And so it allows you to, even though you're not progressing in a huge way in any one category, you're having these little steps. You're taking these little steps forward in all these different areas at the same time. The last thing I want to talk to you guys about, which I find very entertaining, is these area bosses that I've mentioned already. And if you look on the map in the top right corner, you'll see there's like a white skull with horns. If I click on that, it'll show me these different bosses. These are kind of area bosses that will spawn, and they're each appearing in a different place. So this dragon appears in the plains of Dion. This kind of wood block looking Cyclops guy appears in the Summit of Dissonance, and you can see the recommended combat power is very high. My combat power is less than 100,000, so I have no chance of beating Amadeus Cho, but I could potentially beat, you know, Silverbeard, Zodiac, or Spirit Shepherd. Not alone, because these monsters have, you know, 1 million HP, 5 million HP. But this is almost like a co-op world boss. And I can select Silverbeard, for example, who is the boss that I've been beating recently, and I can go and travel to him and basically wait for him to spawn. It would be a bad time to wait right now, because as you can see, he's spawning in 3 hours and 7 minutes. They all spawn at the same time in different areas. And they all spawn every 4 hours, so you can get pretty predictable time frame for when they're going to spawn. And essentially what I do at times is I might not even be playing Lineage 2, but I can see on my clock, oh, it's about to be 4 o'clock, there's going to be another area boss raid. And I jump into the game, I message some people on my clan, I say, hey, do you guys want to do Silverbeard? Some people join up in my party, we wait for the boss, he spawns, we kill him, and if we get the most DPS, if our team does the most damage, then we will get potentially an extra reward for everyone in the group of 5, which is fantastic. And it's honestly a really fun feature that I can't find anywhere in another kind of mobile MMORPG. And I think that is one of the things that I have to commend Netmarble, who made this game, for doing, because they capture a lot of the essence of a PC MMORPG in the mobile format. And while it is a bit of a not hypocrisy, but it's kind of interesting that I'm playing a mobile game on my PC and it's emulating, the game at least is trying to emulate a PC game in essence, but it's always nice that I can take it on my phone on the go when I'm not at home. So I do really appreciate that I'm able to get almost a PC-esque MMO experience from a phone game, from a mobile game, at least for now. I still have some reservations about this game. I'm not, gushing over it. The end game content is still a question mark for me because obviously I'm not at the end game yet. Any veterans of Lineage could definitely hit me up in the comments and let me know if the end game content looks like it's going to be better for this game. If you've played the Korean version of this game, which came out earlier, and you already know, or you have some insight into what new game modes might be coming for endgame players. I know there was a pretty well received and broadcasted kind of super raid with, I think it was 50 versus 50, and it was on an English server recently to kind of promote the game. So I do look forward to big content like that, and I know there are things like clan wars that will come up later on. We already do have a clan hall, which I assume we're going to have to defend at some point, which I can show you now because it's pretty cool. But I do still have reservations about whether the endgame content is going to be difficult enough and it's going to reward play and skill enough, because that is kind of the downfall of an autoplay game. If there isn't enough skill for you to show off in the game, then endgame players and veterans will soon get bored of it because there's just not enough area where they can compete and reflect on how much better they are than other players of a similar level, based purely on their skill and not just their gear and the kind of pay to win side of most mobile titles. So I wanted to show you guys this game. I wanted to show off the visuals, some of the questing, and my overall thoughts, show you off some cool game modes, and give you some just beginner tips on what you can do to springboard your success in this game. Definitely do as many quests as you can every single day. There's actually a lot to get through. There's weekly quests, which you do 10 of per day. There's daily quests, there's main quests, there's also sub quests that you get scrolls for, and you can do all of that in addition to, once you unlock them, clan quests that we have over here, both solo quests and quests that everyone is completing at the same time. And there's just a lot to do for new players, so jump in if you're excited about it. Now would be the best time to start playing this game because it's brand new, so you can catch up with people who aren't that far ahead. I haven't been playing too aggressively, and I haven't been paying anything. I'm still totally free to play, and I'm sitting at rank 904 in the world, which is not bad. I mean, level 80 is double my level, but you can see from there it kind of falls off. And if we go to, rank 10, he's only about 20 levels behind. So I can make that up in some time with a lot of effort. And so I hope that you guys will pick this up if you like it. And if not, let me know why. So hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you think of this game. If you want to see more of it, if you want more videos about it, maybe some gameplay of region bosses or some more tips on, how to level up, gear and stuff like that, skills. Subscribe if you're having a good time. And of course, if you like what you see, I hope to see you again tomorrow. Take care.